What up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday episode to the Road to 150. Well, I don't know, maybe this doesn't roll well. But anyways, congratulations to our homie Hope, rocking her ETR. Flex that ETR sweater, please.
Oh, yeah, ETR. Shout out ETR. We love the guys over
there. She won a big win this weekend. Props to her. I wish I could take credit, but I didn't do anything, man. I was like, when she messaged me that you did it, I was so stoked. Hope, run us through that a little bit later. And how are you doing this weekend? How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Obviously, I mean it's huge when you get the bink. Well, I'm not gonna call it bink. It's fourth place. That doesn't count as a bink. But when you get the nice hit out of the way early, it takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the year. I feel like because this is like my full-time hobby. I really want to do good in this. I put so much time and effort into it, especially the dailies. I mean, and of course the battle royales too, but now like this is really what I love to do. And to see it pay off, to have that sweat. And honestly, we'll talk about it later, or we can even do it first, but we'll just do it first. Now that we're just talking about it.
I don't want you to sell yourself short though, because first off, that's a 600x technically when you think about that. That's some gain numbers right there. And secondly, you were leading. You were like, I happen to like just like get this lucky touchdown and fly 50 spaces. Like you were leading almost the entire day. So
no, not until the afternoon because I had Daniel Jones and Waller. So
yeah, but like towards the end, I remember like you barely got like it just came down to a couple of plays that you barely missed. Like this wasn't like you sun run like something random. This you were leading, and the team shows it. This is a team that was early.
Yeah, it felt good. Keenan and Mike Evans go off. Really like to see Evans. I mean, Evans went in a lot of drafts though, so he wasn't as much of a scroll down play. But we preached target the Tampa receivers against Chicago. We're gonna preach that again this week with obviously Kelsey, but the whole Kansas City offense. But yeah, really love to see that pay off. We obviously wanted to target again these pass funnel defenses, the Chargers against the Titans. We got our QB tight end stat going off, and then 2 elite running backs to start out the draft. Yeah, I mean, I do think I've said this, like, I had a really good shot at first. Dallas just not needing to do anything in the second half hurt Pollard. CMC, he was short of an even bigger day too. Late down the stretch when San Francisco was trying to close the game out, CMC ran a little Texas route when if he would have just stayed out in the flat, it would have been like a 6-yard touchdown. That could have pushed me higher, but yeah, it was a really good run out. Also, the Daniel Jones touchdown at the end, I think was to Hodgins, not Waller, which first place had Waller. And had me a lot matched. Man, the two running, we had opposite running backs. Like, I think a lot of days I do take this down, but we're really happy with fourth. A good start to the year.
You're talking about 2.10 points, right?
Yeah,
2.10, 2.4 points. Literally a half a touchdown swing in any of these guys. Pollard puts in a touchdown, right? Possibly. Yeah.
Which this person had CMC does a little bit more. It was really, I think, I needed Pollard because these two people in front of me had CMC. But they didn't have Jones and Waller, so it was Pollard. I needed one more big play from Pollard to take it down. This person had me duped except Pollard, Saquon, so it was close. Really happy with that. And we're gonna try and do it again this week, but we got some NFL news to talk about. Some sad news, man. Nick Chubb. Brutal injury Monday night. We love Nick Chubb. People like to joke, best pure runner in the game. Everyone says that, but it is true, and he's awesome. He's a special player. He's a special person. He seems to be like just a great guy on and off the field. And to see that, the same type of injury he had in college, same knee, just just brutal, man. Football's
Yeah.
a brutal game. I feel like I don't know if it's because we're not paying more attention this year, but definitely have a lot more in play as far as best ball and dailies and stuff that I've ever had. So maybe I'm just watching it way closer. But man, the injuries seems like they're piling up.
I mean, this is the same thing we were saying last week, and we went into it this week a little bit. It's not only is it just a lot of injuries, it's a lot of injuries, and it's week 2 finishing, right? Like, I can't think of a time we lost these many guys this fast. We're thinking about all the running backs. If we took everybody together, all like let's say the top 24 drafted, I think we're down like 6 or 8, right? Like by week 3, we're down Eckler, we're down Saquon, we're down Nick Chubb, we're down J.K. Dobbins, we're down Akers, not for injury, but just down Akers, we're down JT. Like, and then, whatever the hell the rest of these other teams are doing, like Brees Hall with Dalvin Cook, like and then you have guys starting slow. Josh Jacobs is starting slow. Stevenson is semi-slow at the moment. Najee is still in preseason. Like, there's a lot of things that are just like really not good.
Yeah.
And top it off, and then Dave Montgomery's hurt. Freaking, like, the list just goes on.
I mean, we can get to a deeper discussion with the running back position. We don't need to tonight. I mean, it's been talked about by a million people, but like, this is why the owners, I think, unfortunately, rightfully don't want to pay these guys, man. It's such a brutal position to play. And I know other positions get injured too, of course, but it's just when you're running back, you're taking those hits right up the gut against the 300-pound people over and over. I mean, it's why, this is a good example of why zero RB can be super, super strong too, because I mean, you could have a team out there right now, and I've got a few that are in the BBM in the top 10,000 that have Jerome Ford on them. They have Kyron Williams on them. So stuff like that, and Gus Edwards now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really looking at the numbers, if you were to take probably and say, hey, let's grab all the top 24 guys that were drafted, or even take top 30, right? And you were to pit them against the top 30 wide receivers, it wouldn't even be close. Like right now, it's looking really good for the top 30 receivers versus the top 30 running backs. It looks absolutely terrible. And that's, this year it happens to be that way. And I think that's why we feel it. We're really feeling it. Because I just listed like 10 guys. I probably could have gone for another 5-6 more names.
Yeah.
But
Rashad Penny was like a 10th round pick in every draft. And this is just a 0. Now, not for injury, but.
He had a good game He had a good game on Sunday.
Penny?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Rashad White. Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Rashad White. Yeah, he had a decent game, but just brutal. Just a brutal position overall. Cam Akers situation, we can touch on that. I mean, there's not too much to discuss here. This is honestly, it's happened to him before. It literally happened to him the start of last year, where he was benched for Kyron Williams. Adam Schefter, was like tweets out of like nowhere to a lot of us that. I'm starting him in fantasy week 1. So this has been the thing with Cam Akers and Sean McVay. They seem to not see eye to eye. But Cam Akers then weirdly smashed down the stretch. So you thought maybe he proved himself. He was going to come into the season. But we started getting late in camp reports. Kyron's going to work in. Kyron's splitting. He doesn't play any starters in the preseason. Sat Kyron then. Similar to the Jerome Ford thing where we kind of knew, hey, this is a guy they're counting on because they didn't play him in the preseason. So yeah, just a kind of a weird, but situation there with Cam Akers.
Yeah, Akers wasn't played like you said either. We thought we were getting a 2-headed monster. He looked good at one point. We don't know what it is, but I will say the one thing that does throw me off is just that Akers even tweeted himself like, "Hey man, I think this is," and I said this before in one of our group chats. I think this is a business move. The Rams, I think, know they're rebuilding. I think there's probably some offer that's out there that they could get.
But do they? I might push back. Like, I know they're 1-1. They got the Bengals this week, who Joe Burrow might not play. I mean, I think they should be. I think the roster is very devoid of talent. But God, Matthew Stafford looks so good. I mean, Puka Nacua is just Cooper Kupp again.
Whether or not they're rebuilding, it's still there, right? Stafford has how many injuries in his body? Like they're going to rebuild at some point, no matter what, either in a year or two. So, and Akers, no matter what they do with him, because he's going to be a restricted free agent, he's gone, right? Like he's gone no matter what. So like, what's the point? Get value on him while you can. there's a lot of teams. I guess I just think it's just a business move rather than but at the same time, it's probably like when they brought out to McVay was like, oh yeah. Like he probably was just like, oh yeah, go ahead, whatever, dude. Cam?
Yeah. It is what it is with Cam Akers. Definitely. I mean, I don't have much. I have like 6%. Wish I had less. Wish I had more Kyron for sure. But it is what it is with that situation. To
me, he's not dead in fantasy though. He's not.
Yeah, he could. I mean, if he gets traded to like the Colts or the Ravens, Browns. Yeah. I'm hoping to Jerome Ford for my bags.
I'm expecting the Eagles to pick him up for a 7th round pick of next year.
They're going
to be like, we'll give you a 2025 7th round pick for Cam Akers. And McVay's going to be like, already on the plane, baby.
Yeah, I've seen some people speculating they're just going to end up cutting him. But all right, let's get into our overall week 2 takeaways, though. We'll pull up the results of the week. What, some major takeaways you had from fantasy-wise, mainly, NFL if you want. Mine, let's talk about our boy, Mike Evans. You were not afraid of the Tampa receivers in the offseason more than I was. Or less than I was as far as being afraid. I still drafted Evans. I still drafted Godwin. But, we talked about who's going to be this year's Seahawks, and it feels like it's Tampa to me through 2 weeks.
I mean, to me, it's kind of a gimme. Like, I'm not here to lap it or anything because it's like people still drafted these guys kind of high.
Yeah,
Evans in the 6th, 7, Godwin in the 5th. I just believe he's good. So Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are my 4th and 5th highest receiver, both exactly at 23% across the board, and Mike Evans even more so because he's in like some of my big teams. But it's just one of those, dude. Like they have to play football, right? And it's not like these guys. And I know we're laughing, but like they have to go out and play football. They have to go get checks. They have to get second contracts. Like.
Yeah.
Why not? Right. And that's what's kind of the argument I even had for Geno and DK in the must. I was like, no one's out. Like DK, Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett are not going out there like, I'm ready to lose. Right. Like they're not coming up. I'm ready to lose, guys. Let's do this. Like they're still dogs. They're still amazing players. I didn't see anything bad of Mike Evans. I know people were pulling up tape saying he looks like whatever. I'm like, does he actually look bad? I think Tom was also just not great either. People talk about target shares. I just thought this team was going to get funneled. Rather than having, 6, let's say 200 targets to miscellaneous weapons, I thought it was just going to be 2 guys again. This was literally just Seattle all over. So, shout out to Mike Evans. I hope he gets his contract, man, because he's balling out. He's balling out hard.
GA is saying here they played 2 bottom 5 defenses, and that's totally fair. Look, they get the Eagles this week, who I will say Mac Jones threw for 316 and 3 against. But I mean, obviously, I do think the Eagles are good. They're just figuring things out. But overall, I mean, Tampa. Yeah, I'm looking at Tampa's schedule. But they've got the Bills, they've got the Eagles, but they get they get the Lions, Falcons, obviously the NFC South. They get the Titans as that passing defense we're targeting. So I think the Bucs are going to have plenty of good weeks to come, even though they will face a few tougher games.
Yeah. But the thought process was this is a 7th round pick, probably my 4th receiver. If you took Mike Evans or even your 3rd to 4th on Godwin, like there's value in those guys. It's guys that can spike. That's all the premise was, and it was priced correctly. So people that were taken and not taking them, it's like the same idea. It was all priced correctly. We just kind of take shots at them. But yeah, shout out to Mike Evans. I love the dude. You guys, hopefully a Ring of Honor player for the Tampa Bay.
I think it definitely could be. Another person I want to shout out. Someone didn't have as much of because he kept getting steamed up in the offseason, and now it doesn't feel great. And someone I know you weren't as high on either, but Nico Collins. Getting a lot of targets. This game, I think he had 150 and 1. Yeah, I know he had like a 30-point game in full PPR and bonuses. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there with Nico?
I'm willing to eat the L on this one. I'm happy for Nico. Like
he looks really good.
I drafted in the last 2 years like crazy. Everyone knows this. I had like 40% of Nico his rookie year, or like 30 and like 40% his second year. His situation, I love these ambiguous situations, right? My only issue I ever had with Nico was just one of those people are buying the ambiguous room and saying because he's the longest, therefore he's the guy. right?
Yeah.
And then I don't think that process is always correct. We could point to like
Van
Rashad Bateman,
Jefferson
Van
this year.
Jefferson,
Just
Rashad
because he was
Bateman.
there does not mean he's any better than Tutu or Puka. So
Exactly. We can point to these rooms, right?
even though
The Chiefs, who knows whatever's going on over there. There's never like MVS is the longest guy there, right? Like whatever, right? But and the steam on Nico to me was just really excessive for a guy that has no real body of work. But at the end of the day, like I think this was a smart play for guys who believe in Stroud. Guys who are like, hey man, Stroud's a chucker. Like Stroud's gonna be way better than that. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I just don't know.
384.
Yeah, just throwing it up. In my opinion, against a bad secondary, but doesn't matter because points are points. If you get 8 good games out of Nico Collins, he's going to way kill that ADP. And realistically, he's already had 2. He's had 2 good games. He had, 11
First
points
game he had
last week.
11 targets. He didn't get the touchdown. He didn't get the touchdown in week 1, I don't believe. But this, 150 yards. Like he was always one of those uber talented guys. Like I'm a big college person. He was one of those. He's a 5-star recruit. Went to Michigan. Big time. Athlete and player. Someone we could have seen the breakout coming from more than a Van Jefferson type for sure. So let's see.
The process hits sometimes, the process doesn't. And, I'm glad it did because Nico was a story that I liked, from a tanking team willing to trade up for a guy. I think that's always the best thing to see.
So Detroit, David Montgomery banged up. Seems like he's missing at least this week. If not, I think I said 1 to 3 weeks probably. We'll get into it when we talk BRs. Jahmyr Gibbs going pretty high in the BRs this week. What are your thoughts there? Obviously, they brought in and played Craig Reynolds in the second half. They have Bam Knight, I believe, now as well. So what are your thoughts with Jahmyr Gibbs this week? They're taking on the Falcons, who do have a slightly improved defense. Do you think they're going to give him the work? Or
so you mean Detroit versus Seahawks, not Falcons?
Well, they play the Falcons this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They play the Falcons. I don't know. I like the Lions. I think they're good. I think they will do stuff. They're explosive. Their defense is not that good right now. They're really giving it up a lot. So, yeah, I think if you're in on it, just play it. Because Gibbs it looks quick. He does have multi-role potential. And short of him tripping on himself in week 1, that was basically a touchdown. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's a touchdown, right? Yeah. Team up the gut, we love the Montgomery TDs, but I can admit that shouldn't have been one for us. So sign me up for Gibbs. I think that's a good play.
He caught 7 balls in this last game too.
Exactly. He's a guy.
He only got 7 carries. Was not very efficient on them, but against the Falcons, if he gets 12 to 15 carries and he finds the end zone, he's probably going to go catch 7-8 balls for 50, 70 yards. If he gets the touchdown, he could be a smash. So I'm definitely mixing him in battle royales this week for sure.
You're hoping for a touchdown is basically what you're asking for, and you're asking that nobody else really does any work on the back end.
We need 100 scrimmage yards and a touchdown, and we're there.
I'm a little afraid just because of coaching tendency from the Lions have always shown they'll use those random guys. But I think it's fine.
I agree. I think if you're going into this week expecting, all right, Montgomery's out, it's Gibbs time, I don't think it's going to be that fully. I think there could be a Craig Reynolds goal line touchdown. We could see him. I think he is going to mix in more than we want if we like Gibbs this week. So that was something to be mindful of. But I do think just with his efficiency, his big playability, he's definitely someone I want to be mixing in this week.
Let's say 15 touches. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think 15. I could see closer to 20 with 12 carries, 8 catches, something like that. I think if he gets that, he's definitely going to be close to 100 plus scrimmage yards, and he just needs that touchdown.
Yeah. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, this could potentially be a thing with him breaking out next year. I'm still worried about the long-term, ever being a feature back just because the goal line stuff, I just don't know if it's ever going to be there. I go back to, obviously I'm an Alabama fan. I go back to watching him in college and we pulled him at the goal line in college, for a bigger back. And so if you're not getting goal line carries in college, I don't know how much you're going to give him in the NFL.
I would argue that it's just sometimes, I don't get to watch a lot of those college games, if any, but it's one of those, sometimes just a business move. People feel like this is you don't put your assets in bad situations,
Yeah, you don't, but I mean, people are making I don't want to come out here slandering Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's awesome. He's fun.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. Like, it's just business
yeah.
move. They're not going out there and being like, yeah, this guy we spent the first round pick in, up the gut. Like,
but I mean, we just talk about the Alvin Kamara stuff. I mean, Kamara weighs like 15, 20 pounds more than him.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. So I'm still in though. He's super fun. I think he's definitely in play this week. If you draft him and redraft, you're starting him for sure. But let's now move. Unless you got anything else from week 2, any guys stood out to you?
Dallas. I'm gonna give a shout out to Dallas. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm gonna shout out Dallas. CeeDee Lamb, dude. Like, I know people were really just riding my chains about like, oh, they're gonna run the ball more and we're killing more. And I'm like, let's pause. Like, my argument that I've always had for Lamb was just that he's so versatile. Yeah, he can be used all over the field. He's a complete player. Whether people want to believe it or not, he's one of the most complete players in the league. And he's not as good as Justin Jefferson. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But he's more versatile than A.J. Brown. He's a versatile guy. That's why I love him. Maybe a little bit lax on the touchdowns. I kind of wish he would have gotten one. But I'll take, 27 catches for, 190 yards. Like, so I think Lamb was someone I think we're going to come back to this again next year at some point where people are bagging on Lamb because of Dak or whatever. And I'm just going to say, hey, sometimes you just are a good player and you do good things, right? And I kind of think we forgot about that with Lamb. So I think that's a shout out for me on him. And that doesn't take away from Pollard because Pollard's also crushing. But.
Yeah, I mean, Pollard got 32 touches in that game. Yeah. And he only got 16. I'm still guilty. God, I should have won that contest. Pollard on 32 touches, only gets 16 fantasy points. It's just brutal.
We're talking about 11 receptions on CeeDee Lamb last week. Like this week. Like, come on. 11 receptions on 140. That's ridiculous. So just shout out to him.
Totally agree. I want to shout out Andrew here. I mean, a lot of people were kind of interested in Puka, but I didn't see anyone touting him more than Andrew this offseason. I wish I would have listened more. I've only got him on, I think, 2 or 3 of my BBM teams. Really missed there. But yeah, and my guy Jerome Ford. Yeah, I have tons of him, like 12% Jerome Ford. Unfortunately, feels really good right now. But yeah, shout out to Andrew on the Puka love. Should have listened more to that for sure.
Yeah. I think the issue that we had with the whole Puka thing was like that Cup was there. I think it's one of those.
I mean, I took like 16% Cup, have him on 25 of my BBM teams. Like, I just think I'm just not, I'm not considering another Rams receiver usually, unless, I was doing a lot of like Cup, Higbee, Stafford, right? Like, and that's kind of how I was doing that. And some Van Jeff. I think I just kind of like, he was going higher. I just, fell in my ways on that one. So
we talk about like following ADP is times a plus EV move. Not always the case, but this is just a reminder that we need to mix around 18s a little bit better. I mixed up a lot of like Josh Kelly, like Mason.
You were on Josh Kelly all offseason.
Like, but and then I bought in a little bit of Michael Wilson. I bought a little bit of like McCall, but like, he's got to really push it around. Mac Hollins and all these random guys. Like, just being creative helps us win these kind of games. So like, props to the guys that did it. Like, I know people were talking about it and didn't do it. And I'll admit, when I talk about certain guys, I don't always do it. So I'll tell you, like, I was talking about a lot of Josh Kelly, but I didn't like take more than like 8 to 10% or something. So
it's tough to get tons of the late round guys. So yeah, I mean, 14% Puka is awesome. Kind of feel great right now.
50% Gus Edwards. I think I'm like 30% Gus Edwards. It's so bad.
I mean, we got one more shout out, dude. Our guy B-Rob, 27.9 half PPR points. Like, feels so good to get that, game. I think, and we can do a little bit of, portfolio review, just kind of anecdotally.
I just can't wait to say, like, minus bullets equal plus EV. Like, that's going to be such a great take, apparently. Like, I don't know why people just hated the guy so much. I get it. I actually do understand.
But he's a plotter. He's a plotter.
He's a plotter, but to me, he's David Montgomery-esque. And these guys survive the NFL way better than a lot of players would like to expect. So I do like guys like him. And I get it. He was a senior level player. But, that's a good thing sometimes. Being a senior and getting better at your craft is huge.
He caught 36 balls at Alabama as a senior. Like, he hasn't got the 4 or 5 catches we'd like, but he had 2 for 42. He had the touchdown catch in week 1. Like, he's going to get more involved. And so, it feels really good to have 20+% of B-Rob right now after that week. Obviously, he gets the Bills this week, a little tougher matchup. But let's move on. Let's move on to game 3. We got our game totals. Talk about our top stacks. I mean, look at this. Chargers Vikings just 6.5 points higher than any other game. Like, this is a week, if you're playing DFS or if you've got Chargers and Vikings, you're playing BRs. I'm almost like considering one in every lineup. Like, if I'm mixing in Addison, I'm mixing in Mike Will, Keenan. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's the 101 this week in
TJ
BRs.
Hawkinson.
Oh yeah, Hawkinson goes high. He's like a third
My
round
boy.
pick and like every BR. Josh, we'll talk. I don't want to step on your toes because we've got some guys we want to tout, but let's talk about just first off about the games, the matchups, and see what you like. We'll start with that top one, Chargers and Vikings.
So we're talking about BR picks. I kind of like Joshua Kelly. I know he disappointed this past week, right? And maybe we're just not giving enough credit to the Titans. Maybe because their front seven has actually always been kind of relevant.
No, yeah.
That's what
Jeff
they're known
Simmons
for.
is one of the best D tackles in the league.
Yeah, they have a really good, they just have a weird secondary, but they have a secondary that likes to go in. Like Kevin Byard, will go in, right? I think Joshua Kelly disappoints. I'm sorry. Okay, I know half of the world was touting this play, but let's see what happened to the Vikings last week against. What did the Vikings deal with last week against DeAndre Swift? So I think the Chargers and Josh Kelly right now is a final round pick. He's picked 30, projected 36. So you can get a free RB shot for penny on the just super cheap. And I'm down for that. So give me some Josh Kelly against the Vikings in a high shootout, where we know that
we just saw DeAndre Swift rush for 180 yards against the Vikings or whatever. I think Josh Kelly is great. He was out there. I looked up his snap percentage, 80% of snaps, or 75, 80%. He only got 13 touches, was not very efficient on it, but the workload's going to be there. He could fall in the end zone twice. Definitely want to be mixing him in BRs. The rest of the week is kind of it's just there's a lot of good teams not on this slate, and then there's a lot of really good teams playing bad teams. So there's potential for blowouts. Chiefs at Bears, I think, is interesting this week. One of the guys I want to, we're going to talk about too, and we'll just do it here. Isaiah Pacheco. I really like him in this matchup as a kind of scroll down play. He had 70 yards last week. Didn't score, but this slate is kind of thin at running back. And if you want to take 2 RB teams, I like Pacheco here. The Chiefs are 12.5 point favorites over the Bears. Could be a lot of second half runs for Pacheco if they're up by a lot. And conversely, the whole garbage time narrative, which I know some people push back on the garbage time. I'd rather my offenses just be good and score and they're not be garbage time. But I do think, some Justin Fields maybe in garbage time running around, trying to catch up to the Chiefs. Maybe, passing more than he usually does. Him and DJ Moore stacks I'm actually interested in this week. I know Fields has been awful, and it's gross. But Fields does not go in the top 6 QBs on the slate. And we know, he can just score 40. He can have those 2 long touchdown runs that break the slate. So
that's fair.
I kind of like that in a little mini stack. You have the Chiefs blowing them out. You got Pacheco, and then you run it back with Fields and DJ Moore, or even Kelsey with Fields or DJ Moore, something like that. It's just, it's not going to be a huge chunk of my teams, but I do want to mix him in because he could break any slate.
Yeah, I think the Pacheco play makes some sense, right? So I'm going to pull one for mine with yours. So I put Sky Moore for my Chiefs side of this thing. And the reason that is because, one, Patrick Mahomes doesn't ever throw under 200 yards. He did that, I think, a total of 0 times last year. And he normally averages 250 to 3. He actually has more 300-yard games or higher than he does less than he has of those. So he's always either throwing 290 or plus. Touchdowns, those are always a toss-up, but you're looking at a guy that threw over 40 touchdowns last year or something along the lines of that. So I think you always have a shot at touchdowns with Patrick Mahomes. Therefore, this could be a get-right game for them. So maybe Mahomes throws 400 yards because he has against bad teams. He did this against the Titans and only threw 1 touchdown. He did this against Arizona last year, about 400 yards, but threw 5. He did this against the Texans where he threw 340 yards and only 2 touchdowns. My point is it can either officially go either way. And let's say it's a 400-yard game, no touchdowns. Like then Pacheco just probably waltzed in there twice. But in vice versa, it could be a 400-yard game, 200-yard game, 300-yard game with 2 touchdowns, and one of them is Sky Moore, and they're using this game to get right with their wide receivers against a very bad defense. So I'm siding on both of them, but I think I want to make teams if I was to build them either around Sky Moore or around Pacheco.
I agree. I also will say I have done 11 BRs, and I did one where I was trying to set up. For some reason, ended up with Mahomes and not Kelsey. I took Kadarius Toney on it. I did.
Ew.
I know it's gross, but I feel like there's potential there. I think you can throw darts at any of those just because how bad this slate is overall. We'll get to it. We'll look at the rankings here in a minute, but it's kind of gross after there's a clear line for me after Josh Allen in the ranks. But anything else on any of the other 4 games here? Got your Dolphins and the Broncos. Kind of both of your teams this year.
so weird. It's been such a weird season for me. I like that one to an extent. I don't know how that goes. Like I said before last week, I think just Russ has been very efficient. So I think you're expecting 2 touchdown games from Russ like almost every week, if not. I don't count that last third touchdown. I am not counting a Hail Mary as like, oh my God, I told you guys. None of that. But 2 touchdowns, 200 something yards. He ran for 50.
Yeah, that was really encouraging to see.
So maybe I know ball. And I'm not even a big Russ guy. I shat on him last year. I'm just telling you how it's true. Yeah. But a game I'm actually looking at is the Bills Commander. I'm a little surprised that's only 44. I'm actually very surprised Bills Commanders is only 44. I think that game could be a lot better than it sounds because the defenses have kind of, on both sides, have been randomly giving up just weirdness. I don't know. And I think the offenses are better than they got credit for. I think they're being brought down from their week 1 games. But I think their week 2 games show that they have life in their body. So I think the Bills Commanders, I would sign Diggs. I would play,
for sure.
Brian or Terry or maybe even Dotson at some point. Or maybe Howell. Howell looked pretty good too. So
yeah, he did. And the Broncos defense is not a pushover, and he had a great game against them. But yeah, really, I like that game. It's interesting. I feel like I can't get past the bias of thinking the Bills are going to blow them out, even though I know the Commanders are improved. But just seeing what they did to the Raiders, who have Devontae Adams, who have Josh Jacobs, and Jimmy G versus Sam Howell, it's tough. I'm definitely I think just on paper scared of that, but I definitely think it could be something to lean into, especially the Commanders. Probably for me more as one-offs than stacking up Howell. But yeah,
they're probably more of a one-off play. But I do think this game is probably has a good shot at being higher than 44. Right? I mean, especially if the Commanders did 35 last week, and they did 20 against the Cardinals. I know it's not great, but the Bills and them, it's a shot. This could be a 31, 27 game. And then look, it's great. So
yeah, it definitely seems like the Broncos defense is worse. I like Raheem Mostert a lot this week. Obviously Tyreek's number 2 in BR picks, but I like Mostert as well. He's not much of a scroll down though, of course, because the BR ADP is just so reactionary to last week, and Mostert's a 4th. He goes in almost every draft. I'm sure you'll get the random one where people just decide not to take him, but he's going to go in almost every one of them. But yeah, these, we'll talk about some more games as we get into actually doing the drafts. But now we are going to do our weekly pick'em. Unfortunately, we didn't hit last week. We hit week 1. We didn't hit last week. Calvin really let us down. Let a lot of people down. The BR streets, everything. And then Anthony Richardson went out, and Michael Pittman was 1 yard short or 2 yards short of what he needed. But
that was so painful. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
so let's tell the story really quick on this one, just so you guys understand how funny this is. So after me helped Nate pick him with Pittman at 57 yards or something.
Yeah, it was 57 and a half.
Yeah, 57 and a half.
56.
the line went down. He went down to like 52 or 54.
It's 51.5.
Oh, 51.
It
So he went down.
It went down 5 whole yards. So we lost a lot of closing line value on that.
And she messages me about it, and I'm always like, oh, like it's a couple yards. It shouldn't be a problem. And it actually ends up being a problem by 1.5 yards. And I'm just like, spoketh too soon, apparently. Apparently that's gonna happen. So.
And one thing that we did gain on the Waller. We got it when it was at 49.5, and it went up to 54.5, which he beat both. He went higher, but we already did lose 3 yards on Pacheco. I looked while we were talking earlier, and it was grayed out. It was 55.5 when we talked about it literally 30 minutes ago. So the Pacheco steam is here this week, it seems. Already up 3 more yards. But this was one of mine. We each pick 2, and then we agree on one. Obviously, we talked a lot about Pacheco already. I think it's a good spot for him versus the Bears. Hopefully they're blowing him out. He's getting a lot of run in the second half is the theory on this one. And then Brandon Aubrey was my other. Davis has gone back-to-back kickers, and he's going for a kicker for a 3rd time as well. I thought I'd dip my toes in on the kicker pick'ems. And Cowboys kicker, 2.5 extra points made. I think the Cowboys are scoring 3+ touchdowns against the Cardinals. This one feels good to me as my second one. Just need them to score 3 touchdowns. I think they can do it. The Giants just scored 4. Obviously, it was, they were trailing, and it's more of a shootout. Worst case scenario, I think, for this one, if, you want to paint the downside, is it's like 17-0 at halftime, Cowboys, and then they just start handing it off over and over. They maybe kick one more field goal and win 20-3. I think that's your doomsday scenario, but I really think they're going to score 3+ touchdowns here. So those are my 2, and then you got your 2, and then we'll talk about our last one.
I took Debo 4.5 receptions. With Brandon Ayuk's shoulder situation, not too great. I think Debo has a shot. I would say this almost feels like a gimme. I was talking about Debo last week even. I was like, hey, I get it. He got outshined by his buddy. But, he's the line of scrimmage receiver, right? This man catches 4-yard receptions and takes it for 10. Debo, I think, has a good shot at 5 receptions against the Giants team that's just hemorrhaging points. Against a Giants team that's hemorrhaging the ball over and over to people. They're not going to have Saquon. I feel like the 49ers are just going to be on the field 85% of the game.
Yeah.
Offensively, that is. They're going to just be on the field. Debo gets 4.5 catches. Should not be a problem. He's going to probably do 5 receptions, 56 yards. CMC gets 7 touchdowns. Who cares? So sign me up for that. And then Jake Moody, 2 field goals. I mean, they're going to get down the field. I don't know how you stop the 49ers offense when you hand the ball that many times. They're going to score so much, and at some point, they're just going to start kicking field goals. I think they've kicked 2 or 3 in the last 2 games. It hasn't been hard for them. Jake Moody at 2 field goals is not a problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think game theorying it out a little bit, Thursday night kickers, because Thursday night games, they just played on Sunday. They could be sluggish. The 49ers were in both teams were in games down to the wire in the late afternoon. So I think you could see maybe a sluggish offense that gets down there on. It's a Thursday night. They kick a couple field goals. So I kind of like, we should look into research kickers on Thursday night games because they just always feel gross, right? But
it just happened, right? Last Thursday,
it just happened, yeah, with Jake Elliott with the Eagles, and then I don't remember if the first kicker that we picked it was Thursday. I feel like it was for some reason. No, yeah, it was because it was Bucker. You've gone 2 straight kickers that have hit over 2 on Thursday night, and you're going for the 3rd.
That's what we're doing.
Hey,
man.
Maybe that's an edge we've discovered. We'll find out. And
it's
then
just sluggish offenses.
And then we had to correlate our kicker extra points made with CeeDee Lamb. So 73.5 receiving yards against Arizona feels really good. Coming off a really good game, and obviously, if CeeDee Lamb's getting a lot of yards, hopefully they're scoring touchdowns. And so that is going to be our entry for week 3 in the pick'ems.
We have to do a little bit of convincing on this too. Brandon Cooks is suffering a little bit of an injury. Michael Gallup hasn't really shown up. Nobody on this team has really shown up that isn't Pollard and Lamb, and a little bit of Ferguson, obviously. So I do think it's, like I said, it's just kind of. I'm hoping this one hits. I'm a little shaky, but I do believe a lot in Lamb. He's just such a yardage guy.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is they're just blowing him out. They don't have to throw. They're just handing it to Pollard. They're handing it to Dowdle. they get like a defensive score or something early, you know, and they're just not having to throw and again, that could happen with the touchdown thing. So there are ways this doesn't hit, but Arizona's been feisty in both their games. Obviously, the Cowboys defense is a worlds different than the two defenses they played. Even the Commanders aren't awful. The Giants have some players, but obviously nothing compared to the Cowboys. So it's what we're riding with, though. You know, hopefully we'll pick back up on the winning streak.
Cool. We nailed it. We're gonna get this one again. It'll be cool. It's always fun to hit like a 5 pick, even if it doesn't pay like super huge, because it's just like the odds are so not in your favor to ever land these. I think it landed like 6, 4, or 5 this past weekend, and it's been painful.
Yeah, we talked about this in some of our group chats. If you're doing the pick'ems, my favorite thing to do, and obviously like it didn't hit yesterday, but I did both of these at halftime of the games, and I got 4 out of 5 in both. Unfortunate that Steelers defensive touchdown. I really think this one was easily getting there if the Steelers didn't score that defensive touchdown. Needed that. And then I did this one at halftime, you know, trying to play out the game scripts. And so I kind of like that. You know, I feel like it's easy to pick up on that as well.
I'm kind of glad you didn't take a Michael Thomas one because he didn't get anything after half. He just vanished. He went 7 receptions in the first half.
One of my things too with the pick'ems, like Chris Olave's second half, his was 32.5 yards. He was already at 11. And one of my kind of things too is like I just bet on the stars, you know, and that's something I like doing in the pick'ems, especially at halftime. Like it didn't work out in the Bengals one because I did the same thing with Jamar Chase because his was like 40 yards after halftime when he only had like a few at half. So
don't you know that the stars T. Higgins, my boy? Just kidding. That's it. That game, I think if you're talking about in general, that hits almost every time. And it's a flip-flop, so it's going to go. That's a tough one.
Going to be hopping in here. All right, we got the 101. We're going to get Justin Jefferson. But, yeah, if you guys are hanging out with us, really appreciate a like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Really keeps us going. And so, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, like, subscribe, hang out.
Hit the buttons.
Contribute in the chat and all that fun stuff. Share with a friend. If they're getting into this and they need a place to start off at, like, hey, send them to us. We also do redraft questions too. So if you guys want to submit some redraft questions while we're in these, go for it.
So obviously, I think we're both just going to take Justin Jefferson at 1 and not think about it. Against the Chargers, this game, 54.5 feels just so good. And I need to get these percentages off there. This has no relevance to this week.
You don't want to select Tyreek Hill against Baltimore? I don't know. Like that could be fun too. But yeah, you don't want to select them against Denver.
I will definitely have some Tyreek Hill, but I think whenever I get the 1, I'm just going Jefferson this week.
Yeah.
We should do one of those actually.
The dog bowls.
Yeah, let's do a dog bowl. We'll do 2 BRs and then a dog bowl because they do take a little bit longer. That'll be fun actually. I don't know when we win if we're gonna split the trip to Miami, but
I'll pay for my own ticket. If we end up in Miami, I'll pay for my own ticket. Like that's fine. I'll figure it out.
Come hang out. Be like, I was half the brain trust on this team. I deserve to be there.
I would totally be fine with that. I'd be like, I guess I'm just going to Miami to draft my team. Like, totally cool. I'll just pay my own ticket.
But yeah, we'll do a Miami one.
Shout out to the homie Nez again. I'm sure he got 1,000 props, but it's always nice to know somebody that just does work.
Yes, it was super, super cool to see Nez win that. His team was awesome.
His season's paid off already.
Yeah, crushing it.
Done.
I know that was the first thing I thought when I had my hit as well. It's like, phew, I pretty much have paid for BBM now.
Ugh, must be nice. I did.
Hey, I think you can do it too. You just gotta get these streets.
I gotta crush my weekly winners. Can I just settle for that? Like, I'll take that.
I hope you do better than me. Oh yeah, we should update on some of our contests. Much better. I think both of us after week 1 were like, yeah, we're not talking about this. But then week 2, a lot of our players got there as we knew things would happen. It all balances out. Really good week for some of our guys.
I went from like 10% advancement or something, whatever, to like 20. No, it was like 13% or 14 to like 60% at one point. And then obviously like Jerome Ford thing, like really Jerome Ford and I think Cooper kind of swapped me down. I have a bit of Cooper, but Jerome Ford really brought me down when he just crushed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm up a lot. I think I'm like 30% across the board.
Your advance rate's nice.
Yeah.
My week 1 was rough. I'm speaking specifically BBM. I went from 14% advance rate up to 19%. I think I'm advancing 28 out of 150 right now. I kind of like definitely just taking a Monra here. Waddle going that high. I could do both and do a 3 receiver or do.
I was thinking
We
you
could
don't want to stack Hawk on there. Let's take Mark Andrews. I think we could take Amon Ra and grab Andrews.
Amon-Ra Andrews and then get Lamar. Mm-hmm. The only reason is, man,
or just take Kirk even if he comes back.
Yeah, we could still do Kirk too. Yeah. I'm good with Andrew. I don't mind double. I don't know. Double stacking is just tough because now if tight end just stinks, that's one thing. But it's like 67,000 people this week in this.
Yeah.
You almost are going to need to be perfect. And obviously, like Jefferson could have 40 and Hawk could have 20, but it's kind of thin.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
I might have done totally Ridley and just been like, I've got 3 stud receivers here. But the thing, see, like running back, and we'll look at it before we get to the next one. I mean, I feel like ETN is a really good play. Feels like against Houston. But then Henry versus Cleveland does not feel great. No. And then you have Gibbs, and it kind of drops down immediately. Like, obviously, Eckler's still technically questionable. You got B-Rob.
His timetable is literally not likely to come back. Is what it is. Like, it's just not coming back right now.
Ramondre against the Jets. Then Brees against, those don't feel good. Then you have Kelly Pacheco, which I like. I even think you can get Gross, and I think you can take Madison this week.
I think I'd rather take Josh Kelly.
I would rather take Kelly too. Yeah, definitely not taking Madison with Jefferson, but I do think, Madison is not going to go in a lot of drafts because of how bad he played. I think like a flop lag play there.
Maybe Zach Moss. Would you, on our comeback, would you consider a Lamar and Nico? If we want to ride that Nico's putting in work and he is getting a lot of targets, I think Lamar Nico here is like really fun.
Well, he's not the run back though. They play Indy.
Who, Nico?
Yeah, Nico.
No, he's not. But I'm just saying, like, he would just be that one-off that you could have, right? We're playing like hard parlay because he's a guy that has a hot hand.
He does. I don't know. Amari Cooper's here too versus the Titans, which is nice. He's one of my guys this week. I want to get a lot of Amari versus the Titans, and I even wouldn't mind. I know Deshaun looked awful, which is you'd love to see it, but
okay, that's fine.
I kind of want to go Gibbs here. I don't know.
You want double Detroit?
Oh no, yeah, no, we don't. Good call.
James Cook against Wash or Nico?
Mostert, I kind of like. Let's go Nico. You liked Nico. We need to do this.
Yeah. I'm not, like I said, I just think it's someone that's, if he's really separating, like we should just take advantage of that. And there's a good chance the Texans just get smoked by the Jags.
Jerome Ford already up here.
Oh yeah, Jerome Ford's probably going to be someone that's going to be taken.
If we could get Gibbs in this, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. If we got to finish like almost perfect. Yeah, RB is gross, like GA saying. After Bijan Pollard this week,
and
ETN. Like, there's 3 good running back plays that you feel great about. We have Kelly. We have Pacheco.
You could do your Pacheco play, yeah.
We could do Kelly on the run back from Jefferson.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Obviously I don't think that Kelly's in the same league as DeAndre Swift, but like if you get 90 and a touchdown, like in like 3 receptions, I think that puts you there.
Yeah. And I actually think most weeks in BR, I like double RB and half PPR. But this week feels like 3 wide receivers because, like, there's still some really fun, like, because running back to me gets a little gross. And Pittman. But you have Lockett versus Carolina. You have Christian Kirk, who just had a good game. Gabe, like, there's still some really good receiver plays. McLaurin. Wow, Gibbs made it all the way back. I'm still probably Kelly, though. You think?
Yeah, I think by Kelly.
Let's go Kelly. We got him on as a run back for Jefferson. Gibbs falling all the way down is surprising, but makes sense.
Did you make the pick?
Yeah, it like freezes out the last pick.
Okay,
it does it in BRs too.
That's silly. But it makes sense, I guess.
But
anyways, look at all those digits up in the corner. Must be nice.
Look at that. But look at the top 12. Like, you feel great about the top 2. Feel good about Kelsey, Pollard, Bijan, CD Diggs, obviously, all the way down to Ridley. Then you Hawk, Etienne Andrews, Allen. After that, you hit like the 3rd, 4th round. To me, it starts getting a lot grosser. I mean, taking out the quarterbacks. Obviously, we like some of the quarterback plays. But this week is just not as fun. Obviously, Eckler, Chubb was supposed to be on this slate. Waddle's questionable. I think it's a really good one to scroll down and get different on.
I was gonna say another person.
Aaron Jones questionable. Christian Watson. Like, I think this is gonna be a good one to maybe not fire as many early, unless you like have great takes on these guys. Obviously, you can always swap, but
I was gonna say a guy that I think like I'm not a big fan of taking a lot, but I would say like Kenneth Walker is probably someone I would consider. He got 2 touchdowns last week. He's getting all the goal line.
Going against Carolina.
Yeah, and
they have a decent defensive front. You gonna do Tyreek on this one?
Yeah, it's gotta be a Tyreek play.
Yeah. A funny thing, like Kelsey's up there at 3. I've been trying to I have not got the so I've seen some good screenshots, like screenshot jealousy of like Kelsey, Diggs, Mahomes, because like if you get in a sharp room where people care about their stacks, you can push Mahomes. Whereas like I've tried to do it twice where I've started Kelsey and Mon-Ra, and then Mahomes is gone both times and I haven't got him. But I think right now in drafts, because I don't want to have no Kelsey Mahomes. So if it gets towards like the end of the week and I keep just getting Kelsey, I'll start taking him in the second. But right now, I am trying to push Kelsey. I'm trying to push Mahomes to the 3rd and get a second stud in on the Kelsey teams because I've already seen a lot of people have those teams. I do have a Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, which feels really good. But yeah, that's fun.
Those all sound like really good plays. I'm always just like, man, there's so much to do in BR.
It's just it's a lot to think about. I love the game theory.
And then it's also just a lot of like, I'm hoping that X like swings my way, right? Like it's like that's annoying. Like I hope he comes back. And if somebody else gets lucky on it, then you're just like, well, I wish I was that person.
Yeah. So I'm probably either Mon-Ra or Ridley. We could do Hawk. Keenan already went. We could do the Mike Will stuff. What do you like here?
Probably
I'm good with either one.
Probably a Mon-Ra, and then hope we get Ridley back.
Yeah. This person took a receiver. They may want to mix it up. If not, though, fine. I wouldn't mind doing Hawk on this team, or we could do the Andrews Lamar this time.
I like Hawk more than Andrews. I just think that man's just a target hog, and
he's getting a ton of targets.
And
I would say he has not been super efficient, though.
No, he hasn't. But there's just so much going on, and like Kirk is like just sneaky sometimes. He's just like, oh, like here we go, right? And he just like just does it to Hawk, and he has a shot at making plays. Yeah, I'll take Hawk. Yeah,
sweet. And so we have Tua or Goff we could do on this team. We could do Kirk as well. I do think like Kirk spike weeks probably 9 out of 10 times involve a big Jefferson game as well as Hawk. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. We could still do Kirk, but I probably prefer because we know a massive Tyreek game almost is definitely a massive Tua game, and same thing for Goff and Amon-Ra most of the time.
Do you think that the Waddle injury though gives Tyreek a good game, but not a good Tua game? Concussion protocol, pretty much. I mean, they just go from a top elite wide receiver to whatever the hell we have left on our team.
I agree. I mean, I low-key think you could pick Durham Smythe in these. I actually don't think he's that low-key of a pick, too. Where is he going? No, he still is.
We should have just rolled our boy Hunter Henry. We should be just playing Hunter Henry every match.
I've picked Hunter Henry once. I mean, we'll say he has scored 2 touchdowns, one in each game. So, I mean, that's going to regress at some point.
Until he gets 17 on the season. Then who's going to be silly?
Yeah, I mean, like if he doesn't catch a touchdown, he's putting up a typical tight end 8 points, 8 points, but I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, tight end's always silly though. It's like I don't know what to really do with some of these guys. It's either elite or bust, or taking the high upset. I think Hunter Henry's someone I would lean on a lot. Maybe some Ferguson too.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like you're winning with those guys. I feel like you're binking a little bit, like a small hit, but never big.
Henry goes. Let's see. This person hasn't picked a receiver. Oh, they have Mahomes. See, they did take Mahomes round 2. Then they got ETN. I don't hate that. Ken Walker goes. Unfortunate. I was hoping we would get him. Olave's here. I mean, I kind of like Olave.
Do you want Olave with, cornerbacks, right? Like, Jaire's been really strong this year.
I mean, just 10, 11 targets. Like,
yeah,
I like
that's
Olave.
Fine. We can take it.
Let's do Olave. I think I'm going to end up with more 3 wide receivers. I already said that. 3 wide receivers.
Do we take...
So we need an RB and we need a QB.
I mean, do we just take Kirk? Or do you want to take Lamar and hope he runs it?
I mean, I think we have all these options here. I think I'm one of these 2 guys, probably. And I mean, Kirk's gonna pass a lot though. I'm fine with Kirk.
I think I like Kirk more than most of those guys in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, the Detroit Atlanta game could be slow paced, and same thing. Miami Denver, like you said, worrying about Tua and not having both receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there are worlds where Kirk passes for 350 and
350.
He's done it both games, and Jefferson gets like 120 yards and no touchdown, and so he's got 12 points. Probably 15, 16 points depending on catches, but doesn't just go for 40. And then Hawk is the one who scores the touchdowns, like kind of what happened last week.
Well, we can't. So running back wise, you can't grab Mostert because we have Tyreek. I guess we probably could because they don't have another weapon. So we maybe
could. It's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite by any means.
So Kelly again.
Kelly Pacheco, Cook. I think James Cook would be okay.
I do like the Pacheco. I mean, Ramondre versus the Jets is not a great, but I mean, if he scores, God, I hate Zeke out there. I mean, what do you think about Javonte against Miami?
Javonte does not look good to me. He looks so middle. I would rather take a shot at
Zach Moss. I think he's getting a decent amount of targets, but
why would you?
I'm not taking Zach Moss.
You're not gonna ride the hot hand against Zach Moss?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, that actually is a good stat line.
It's a really good stat line.
Algier is someone I want to tout. It didn't work this time, but he still got 16 attempts. Obviously, he didn't get a catch, didn't have the touchdowns, but he still saw 16 carries. Running back is so gross. I do plan mixing him in some, but we don't have to on this one.
No, I don't think I could.
I really wish we knew if Aaron Jones was playing as a run back on our Olave.
Even if he came back, hamstring is just going to deter it. Like, I just think it just takes away from him so bad.
I kind of like doing the, we touted it. Let's do Pacheco on this team.
Okay, let's go for it.
But yeah, running back, gosh, it makes me really want to prioritize for a second round getting one of ETN, Pollard, or Bijan.
I think you can how good Pollard is. It's almost a must if you can. If you're not in the top 2 picks, even I would just be like Pollard or Bijan. It's just the way to go because it is a huge fall off. It's just. I
mean, there's enough good receivers at the top where if you took Bijan here or here, you're gonna get one of Keenan and Amon-Ra. I might start doing that. Making them 3-4. I don't know. We got a long week ahead. Let's do a Miami draft. 12.
The dog bowl. Oh, snaps. The Tyreek Hill numbers went up 3 yards.
Oh, it did?
Went from 88 to 91.5. I think he started at 87, actually.
One person for a trip to Miami. Now, these are 12-person drafts. We'll see what we get here.
We're influencers. We got to get that 101. I mean, otherwise, I just start touting another game. I'm telling you, it's what we are.
Look at that. Justin Jefferson in our dog bowl.
If you ever needed to know, we were a.
Or do you want to do Kelsey?
What's that? So you got Josh McCaffrey in it too?
Yeah, GA hopped in. I recognize the name Ryan Hodge from Twitter. Pardon me, I should know who's. I follow him. I know I do.
Wait. Can you scroll down a little bit? Or you don't know Janky? And I'm just kidding. I don't know these people. I'm just looking at the names.
Yeah, so they're messing around with the entry fee. $4, 150 max this week. Obviously a lot bigger contest, but they're kind of playing. Yeah, good luck, Juice McCaffrey.
I wonder if he's gonna take McCaffrey. I'm just kidding. I remember when I first saw his name on my chat, I just started laughing. Like I was like, I remember I texted the dad. I was like, guys,
Have you zoomed in on his Have you zoomed in on his profile picture on Twitter?
No.
To see like the traditional Jewish haircut on McCaffrey's head. Yeah, in fact, it was a big proponent of having a cheaper buy-in dog bowl. I kind of like the theory of both options, where I think the $50 idea was, hey, like we want the people who want to come to Miami, like really want it. And so we're doing a $50 entry. Like you got to really want it to do that. But I also get the appeal of, hey, like give everyone a chance to make that life-changing money. Let's do $4 entries. Like there's no there's tons of people who love Underdog who would love to be there, and $50 an entry for something so top heavy is pretty steep. So I get both sides of that. I'm sure they'll try and find a mix. I do think it's a tough contest when you go and you look at like the payout structure and the rake. Like it's hard to understand the way like the EV is calculated for it when you see it so top heavy. But actually, it's better to watch these drafts like this again.
Oh yeah, it is definitely interesting to see it this way. It's not. It's weird though to see it's only 6 picks. It completely throws me off.
Yeah, this one is going to get really gross because the 6-round drafts already felt gross in round 5 and 6. Now we're going to be like 70 picks deep in the tournament.
There's a lot more badges than you would like to see in these type of rooms. So we have Tyreek, Tony, Travis, Bijan, Patrick Mahomes, CD, my boy, and then Stephon and Keenan. Another guy that I just like to is Keenan Allen, man. I'm happy for him. Keep playing it out, dude. Survive the season. My God. I mean, I'm very much so like I was hoping the Chargers would do well, at least offensively. It's been rough. It's been rough for the Chargers.
They've had a great offensive start, but yeah, that team is cursed, and I don't even like believe in that stuff as far as like, oh, it's the same old Lions or the same old Chargers. But man, the Chargers are making me think about it.
They seriously do it though. They do it to themselves. They find the most creative ways to lose.
They really do.
12 out of 12 red batches chasing overlay.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
That's what Ness did. I think Ness said the draft he won with was like one of the last dog bowls to happen. He had Nico on it, which is cool. Nico was such a good play.
Yeah, that's a big brain play, and I probably don't think he was high owned either. No. I really doubt he was.
Not as much.
Ooh, Josh Allen at 12. Interesting.
Prioritizing the elite QB. I think it makes some sense. I've got some things to pitch to you when it gets back to our pick. We'll see.
God, I wish these rooms would go quicker. God.
They are a bit slower.
A couple of things I'd probably just touch on in general. Last week was like really good to watch a couple of the games that went through. I didn't get to catch every single one, but a couple of priors that I do think that was nice was that, Gino's players are good. I don't think Gino's that good, but his players are at least. So therefore, the guys that were taking any of them probably gonna work out for you.
That was a big. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was a big one for me. Like, because like we talked about, my advance rate after week 1, I was like, oh, this is bad. But then, you look at my top QB exposures. It's Daniel Jones and Gino. Awful game ones. Pop back. Tyler Lockett, one of my highest exposed players, had a good game. And so really like to see that. Yeah. I don't know. This feels even slower than like a BBM. I don't know what's going on.
I will also just kind of throw it out there, like people who are like really panicking, just like reminder, man, like that was 7% of your score. was week 1. This is now we're at 14% of your score for the rest of up into week 14 for your advancement. So you're gonna get a lot of shift. You could be bad the first 4 weeks, and you can turn it around out of nowhere. We're still super early, whether you know it or not. It's gonna be interesting. Good to see Amari Cooper come out though and ball, because he was a guy that I know we were buying pretty hard in the beginning of preseason, beginning of offseason, and then every injury came up for him, and then we started waning, and then we started like a little bit of fear because it wasn't like he was getting healthier. But 7 for 90, got that chemistry. Elijah Moore is not doing what people thought he was going to do, thank God.
No, I mean, he is getting some usage though,
but not enough. I think that's like taking away from Cooper. People were just like, "Oh, he's here." And
Amari Cooper is still awesome, but
so good on that one too.
I mean, Deshaun just looks terrible though, so that's going to be the thing about the Browns moving forward. Yeah,
I mean, be terrible all you want, but I guess these points, it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, for fantasy for us, we're fine with it. Kirk Cousins to the Travis Kelce drafter sniped on us. That is kind of tilting.
No, you know what it is? They're probably going to play that Jordan Addison on the comeback.
I guess.
I mean, Jordan Addison's had a really good start. I don't know if it'd be enough for me to do what that person just did, but
no, yeah, Jordan Addison has had nice, 14 each game. I think he's going to start running more of the routes than KJ Osborne.
Yeah, man, I agree with that last one too. None of those guys I really have a ton of, but Chubb's knee coming back would be just good football.
I don't mind just taking naked Lamar here. In this type of contest, when you got to finish the top, like getting an elite onesie. Obviously, look, tight end, we're just going to unfortunately be punting. I like Amari Cooper a lot this week versus Tennessee. We could wait. We could wait and do. I'll do Cooper first. We can talk about if we wanted to do Deshaun as a bounce back.
I would not.
Or you just like Lamar.
I'll take Lamar. It's fine.
Also Lamar too. Like these drafts are so deep. We could do Zay Flowers still, like as a stack. Well, Zay Flowers is actually right here though, so I don't even know if he's gonna make it back to us. We'll see.
I'm a little sad that we didn't get Mike Dubs. I was like, oh, Mike Dubs is coming back. This would be cool.
Mike Dubs. Hey, you know who else will be out there for us next? Well, maybe our boy Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly season. Here we go.
Yeah, the JMO stuff. I will say, Josh Reynolds looks okay, but Detroit does not have much else. Like, I'm actually, their start from their other receivers made me pretty bullish on JMO coming back. But, there's a lot of stuff around there. Yeah, Bateman's been disappointing. I know, Davis was there on that one. He's not a Bateman guy. I was kind of buying in to Bateman, but Zay Flowers just came right in as better than him. So
I mean, I don't fault anyone that takes like Bateman. I think I was faulting him when people were just like super clear that he was like the guy. And they're quoting like Lamar Jackson, I'm just going to see my wide receiver 1 comeback. Like that was the part that kind of bothered me. But I just, it was just a reminder that like Zay Flowers was drafted high. We've seen what they did at the Marquise Brown role, and Zay Flowers seems like a better Marquise Brown coming out because just better overall, just be able to do a little bit more versatility. And the issue is like Bateman's the same argument I had for Nico. Like I really didn't know what kind of player he was, but people were so certain he was something. But we had 2 seasons where he was 2 different types of players: a deep shot guy and then a short route guy. So that was my only issue. It was like nothing against the talent. It's just like I really don't know, and we're just assuming he's going to come in and just dominate. And plus, Steve Smith. Shout out to Steve Smith as always, like for just saying like this is his guys. Like he picks really good players to be his guys for the year.
Yeah. I'll answer this one. We probably will not be doing any NBA best ball content. NBA best ball is tough. I really want to play it. I have not played it heavily. I think I did 20 or 30 last year. It's just so tough in NFL season when you're focusing on these dailies, for me at least. But maybe I could see doing like a late night like solo stream on NBA, but not sure. Definitely when playoff best ball comes back around for basketball.
I was gonna flip back for a second. On another note, though, like it's still early in the season. Bateman can still crush, and then like I said, he's going pretty late, so it's fine. I was taking a lot at a pick 100, and then at the same time, like not no shoe fits all situation. I said the same things about Nico. Nico missed, and now he's not doing well. Van Jefferson's not. No, Nico's doing really well, but Van Jefferson's not. So like, no take just fits all. Therefore, like when I have my opinions on these, it hits and it doesn't, and I always try to make sure that everybody kind of knows. Like this is why my thought process is. And to be fair, it's consistent. Like it's consistent across the board, and it hits half the time.
Yeah. No, I mean like we swing and miss on players and player takes, and then you have smashes other times. So
it does or it doesn't. It's either it. You rarely get the middle pack, unless we're doing like it was like those random years where like double running back just crushes or something. Like I got both, like it worked out.
It's an interesting start here from the 12 hole. Josh Allen, TJ Hawkinson, Isaiah Pacheco, Evan Ingram.
If they win the dog bowl, that would be the greatest.
I didn't mind that. I mean, Allen Hawkinson to start. I like Pacheco, but Evan Ingram, I don't understand. I mean, maybe they think he just projects so much better than the other receivers left, but
no way.
I don't see that.
Yeah, Ingram is not one of my guys, like at all. His price is so expensive this year. He has way more competition negatively against him. I don't know. Did he do anything last week? Did he look good? 6 for 57, I guess. That's cool.
Not bad. If he scores, I mean, he's one of the tight ends. He was priced up because of his 40-point game, but he's one of the late tight ends where he's going to score 6 points unless he scores a touchdown. Now, he does have a little bit more athleticism than some of the late guys who he can break a long touchdown. I mean, obviously, he had a 40-point game last year, but I don't know.
But I mean, assuming Zay Jones is still off the field, I think Ingram does get a boost, which is what happened last week. I don't know. I don't know if that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But hey, shout out to us. I think we weren't out on Christian Kirk yet. We weren't out on Christian Kirk last week. We were just like, it's 1 week, like whatever.
Well, I mean, I was hoping we were out on him because I had so much Calvin Ridley, but he did come back. I'm above the field on Kirk too. I was just in on the Jags.
Yeah.
But
but we weren't signing doom letters. Like there were people like straight up just like, oh, he's done. Like it's over.
I mean, there was some negative stuff though with him. I mean, not running in the 2 wide receiver sets. Like, so coming up here on this pick, we have to get a running back and a tight end, and then we have a flex. Obviously, like our boy Josh Kelly's there. Kincaid, we took Cooper, so I don't know if I want Njoku. Even though in this type of contest, like if the Browns did smash, but then we don't have Watson, so I don't think we want to double Browns without that.
I don't think I would. I mean, would you consider? Yeah,
Hunter Henry didn't make it to us. Like tight end, I mean Kincaid is getting a lot of work. Like I'm probably Kincaid as one of these picks, or.
But is Kincaid getting meaningful work? I guess is my point.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, I mean he's got 6 targets for. He's got 5 for 43. Like you just need him to score. He's running the routes.
I think I would rather have Jake Ferguson than I would Kincaid.
I don't know, dude. Look at his work. Like I mean, he is so inefficient. Kincaid's at least getting yards. Like,
yeah,
Jake Ferguson is dust. I don't know. Like, I just think upside wise, like it's Kincaid or
Knox. We scroll down, we take our boy Knox. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, Kincaid's yardage is there, so yeah, that's fine.
The yardage is there. He's gonna score eventually. And then we do need a running back and we need a flex. So let's just let me take Kincaid and then we will unclick that. So we need a running back and we also need a flex. Man, I don't remind Ramondre. Like obviously our boy Kelly as a run back on Jefferson again. We could just do it 3 straight drafts. No, we took Pacheco in the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Kelly.
Yeah, let's drop Kelly.
And then we'll just grab our flex on the way back of one of these guys here.
Oh, the flex ones are always tough because you can't be grabbing like these like whatever guys. I mean, would you? No, because I guess that doesn't really work that way.
I mean, we could do. Is OBJ gonna miss? We could do Bateman after just shitting on him.
I don't know if I do that.
ankle injury not expected to affect availability going forward. I don't know. That doesn't sell as much if he's going to play this week. I mean, Bateman, 3 for 18. I mean, you're hoping he busts a long one. Like
that one Nelson Aguilar team, by the way, I think I drafted a while. Paid off, baby, Nelson Aguilar. I got so much junk for that. I was like, hey, what if Aguilar did well last week? Maybe we just. So wait, we took King. Okay, why don't we just bring it back? And yeah, say Terry McLaurin. Just bring it back.
Terry? Yeah, I mean, he's 5 for 54. What did Dotson get from targets? I don't even remember.
It was bad. I don't think he did anything.
He got 5 targets. He had 7. Yeah.
I do think if you're talking about cornerback matchups, though, I think he has it. I think Dotson has it easier than McLaurin will.
Trey White.
Yeah.
I wish we knew if Christian Watson was well. New Orleans has a good defense. I don't say great yet.
that double back. You could do London against the Detroit. London pulled off it last week.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I don't mind London.
All right. Let's get weird with it.
And we're still 16 picks away, though. So a lot of these guys are going to be gone. We're going to be down here picking Jane Reed. Ooh, would have been an absolute smash last week. 17 points.
Yeah.
I'm a little cautious on that before we know if Christian Watson's playing. Yeah, I mean, Elijah Moore had 9 targets, but only got 3 for 36.
It's just like
he got 7, and I don't know. The targets are there, 7 and 9, but yeah, it's because Watson looks awful.
Yeah.
Zay Jones flop lag game.
He was throwing low.
I kind of like Zay as a deep shot guy. Who I know Kirk had the game, but
you could take Marvin Mims.
Zay still had 6 targets. Now, yes, he did not, complete a reception, but what do you think? What did you think of the Marvin Mims stuff?
Inefficient, obviously, but I do think they just stopped. I don't know why they didn't use him more. I thought that was really weird. He looks good.
He ran 6 routes, but he scored what, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Where is Marvin Mims? Is he down?
Probably in another slate for how low he is at this point.
I mean, he caught 2 for 1.
2 for 2. It makes no sense. It was 2 for 2.
He ran like 6 routes. I don't hate it, but I'm not there yet.
Robert Woods?
I mean, man, if we knew if Kendre Miller was good to go versus Green Bay, I mean, we just saw Bijan crush them. Jamal's missing. Like, I don't know.
How about Treylon Burks? Burks barely misses a touchdown by like 5 yards. He gets pulled at the end, and he's got work. And I think their matchup is kind of beneficial for him.
Yeah. I think there's still some guys above. Even Damian Pierce.
Ugh. I don't know, man.
That's so bad.
That line's so gross.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest, just sucks players. Like, I think he's really a good rusher, but with that line.
I think with that line plus that quarterback, it just doesn't add up. I think one more year we'll see it. And this was the part I was arguing. Like, people don't care about rookie quarterbacks. They don't. They'll take away people. But yeah, I don't know. I think Treylon, man. Treylon basically had like 80 yards and would have had his touchdown if he would have just waltzed it in a little bit further.
Yeah, I think the Browns D is really good, and I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the Treylon play this week.
Ugh, you're just a hater, man.
I mean, Hopkins was still here too.
Yeah, but he'll get that. He'll get the main coverage. If George Pickens can come out there and bust it, why can't Treylon? Plus, Tannehill was actually looking really good in that later on.
Yeah, I was against the Chargers, man. Tennessee scares me this week. I'm not trying to draft a lot of them.
Oh, booze. Oh, fine.
I kind of like the London play. Terry goes. We'll see who gets back to us. London is just scary, though, just because, he goes anyway. I don't have to worry about
it. Would you do Josh Reynolds? He's just been catching a touchdown almost every week.
He caught 2 this last game.
Yeah, he's been going randomly off. It's been funny.
I'm probably Dodson or Zay or Sutton.
He's just like your big name players. That's all that is. How about Sky Moore?
Zay Jones. Sky?
Yeah.
He got 4 targets.
4 amazing targets. All right. He's getting there.
I think Dodson's the pick.
UGA says to take Christian Watson and just go for it.
Take Christian Watson, and be like, we're gonna take the swabs if we have to. I have
I think that's a good play.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we go get the swaps, I would do it.
Well, we took John Dotson as our run back on Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, no fun at all.
Hey, you can hop into your own dog bowl drafts.
Never. This is all about doing it together. We got to get weird with it.
No, that you're fair. It's right. I'm probably too smooth brained to think of that, but I don't know. This is fun. So hopefully week 3, week 3 goes good. Week 2 was awesome. Got a little bit of a bink action there. Hopefully we'll do it again in the big BR. Yeah. Any other thoughts as we exit out of here?
I'm hoping our 2 kickers go off, so I get to do 3 kicker weeks in a row and look like the kicker whisperer.
Kicker whisperer, yeah.
Yeah, give me 2 field goals. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. That's all I really care about. Hope you guys week 3 goes better, man. For all the people that are crushing it, hope you do better, and see you all with the 45% advance rates for all you Puka havers.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, guys, like, subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. Probably going to be back Saturday night for some type of stream right before the slate locks. I think the BR will still be open Saturday night. If it is, I plan to go live. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. We will be back.